So things draw to a close. You may be sad, but don't forget that tomorrow there's 8 more awesome games coming your way, so stick around. We'll have those coming your way. I think things start up at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but we first have to get through this and one more super awesome game coming your way tonight. Getting out onto the Rift 4 level 1s. It looks like the somewhat new lineup here for NID coming out and not looking to do anything too crazy just yet. Very defensive start for Cognitive, all lined up along their lanes.
Yeah, and we saw this strategy happen in the Curse Academy game. Everybody lined up across the river. Nobody went aggressive and just played it safe. We even see an early ward dropped out where NubbypoohBear is sitting. It was the ward that Hyolyn had for lane. So they will actually be giving up a lot of vision control in that lane that could be placed in a brush or in the river for potential gank from Ziploc. So we'll see how that ends up playing out as Hyolyn kind of hanging around towards that top lane. We could see a lane swap potentially, but Shyvana does deal with lane swaps pretty well. And there was a ping on a nothing here. They do spot him out with that ward, but nothing too crazy gonna happen here.
Now, if you guys want the story behind Napkins in Disguise, they're a team that's tried to qualify for every single split of LoL Esports LCS. They've been under, I think, 4 different names as they've tried to qualify. And actually now Cris puts a ward over the wall. It's just a trinket, but will take a little bit of damage from Salce before backing on off. Yeah, NID, they've had by far the longest standing unchanged roster up until about a month ago when, not even a month ago, when the entire roster just disbanded. Flappy Bearfish left and the team basically kind of shattered apart. Now, for the purposes of NACL, they will continue to play with Gleebglarbu, aka Hyolyn, and NubbypoohBear remaining from the original roster. Now, Nubby is playing Lee Sin, a champion that Scuba Cris, one of the best Lee Sin players in North America, used to play, so definitely has some big shoes to fill.
We'll see if he can pull off those godlike plays. You do see Zeinking trying to get in with the Glitter Lance, does not connect on a Lotus, Mindy being the end Chow. I'm not sure what I'm going to call him. That name is just too long to say. And maybe just Lotus or Mindy. Either one seems good. We are going to see as they both just trading back and forth. Auto attacks from Lulu hurt quite a bit, especially with the help of the Pix damage. We do see him being nothing here, using the fish bones to push down that lane even faster and clear out the waves. They're just going to hold the range minions there, drop some wards, and keep themselves perfectly safe. While Ziploc does finish his rotation in the jungle, he's going to have double buffs, and I'm wondering where he's going to look to gank. Ganking a Karma is not the easiest thing. Ganking that Olaf lane just pops skills and runs away. And ganking a 2v2 lane, not easy either.
We're probably not going to be focusing on the bottom lane for a long time, and mid is... That's where I would gank if I were, especially Captain Ziploc, who has picked up double buffs and is now looking for where to go next. Ganking for Kog'Maw, though, is probably not the greatest idea. You usually want to counter-gank for Kog'Maw because he should be the relatively immobile champion who gets ganked more often. The white being done there by NubbypoohBear, looking for top lane. As he will look to go in there. Hyolyn does have a stun, throws it down. There are the Flame Choppers as well. Nothing here. A little bit of damage.
Nothing. NubbypoohBear just comes in with the safeguard, walks into the traps, but in the mid lane, actually, Cocoon connects as well. Zemfira is going to do all the damage he can. It's going to be the empowered W from Salce to actually sustain through most of that fight. And he will be able to escape the gank with Flash. Cris down bot right now, trading back and forth with BillyBoss. He doesn't have the Undertow reset, so they will just keep on trading back and forth. NubbypoohBear is coming towards mid. There's a stun up top on nothing here right now. Gonna eat a lot of damage from the Gunslinger pass with the Whimsy mitigating a lot of the aggression, but no, it's not enough. Ignite is gonna tick one more. Is it gonna be first blood? It will be first blood to Hyolyn, as now Zeinking is trying to avenge his fallen AD carry. He will flash away. Repel over the wall actually coming in the mid lane. Meanwhile, there is going to be that tether coming in and a pause.
Oh my god.
Dun, 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 I don't know what's happening, but we will see. Apparently Cris is lagging.
Alright, cool. So we're going to be watching out for Cris. I don't think it's necessarily the biggest thing. Cris lagging isn't going to affect him. It's going to affect Zemfira, Captain Ziploc, Salce, and NubbypoohBear up here. So we'll have to see. I believe the tether is about to pop there from Salce that would lock up Captain Ziploc. So here we go. We're going to see 3, 2, 1 unpause. There it is. All the damage is Ignite.
Flare Ignite is going to pass a red buff over to Salce.
There it goes, double red buffs now, and especially the red buff on a Karma. If you thought she was hard to gank before, it's just going to be that much more difficult, and especially offensive capabilities in lane. Once you slow somebody out with red buff, it makes it harder for them to break your tether, so that would just really helps make focus resolved a lot stronger, and especially if you empower it, gives you 20% of your life back. So, just saying, that's pretty good skill to have, especially with the red buff for the slow.
Yep, and Cris in this bot lane kind of losing out to BillyBoss pretty hard. The undertow pushing as well as shoving him out underneath turret, making him miss quite a bit of CS and putting him at that around 10 to 12 CS deficit at this point. And it looks like Salce actually didn't pick up a trinket. He swapped it out. Did he just re-buy the trinket? Or re-take a free trinket here? I don't know what he went with there, but he went for Sweeping Lens next, so looking for a little bit more control. While we do have Ziploc rotating towards bot lane, trying to go for BillyBoss, who is actually almost level 6. Actually, he's about halfway to level 6, so this gank could be very crucial, but he's going to back off and play safe. While we wait to see where everything else looks to happen, there's a help picks onto Mindy, but Glitter Lance did not connect, so nothing to follow up for Nothing Here.
So for right now, I don't know if we're necessarily going to see some passive time for us to all catch our collective breaths. I'm still kind of reeling for the last game, so stun though on to Zeinking. There's going to be Piercing Light gank coming in. NubbypoohBear.
Yep, he gets in with a Resonating Strike, Tempest Cripple to pick up the kill, while BillyBoss almost getting dove. His Ignite was used out there from Cris. He's got Dragon's Descent now, he just hit level 6, and this turret going to take a whole lot of damage and maybe actually go down, as BillyBoss will not be able to get back to lane in time. Wow,
There's actually going to be Dragon's Descent back towards the...
He's pushing.
Alright, that's definitely one way to do it. Alright, Cris is going to get out of there. And keep in mind, Dragon's Descent, it's cools down based on your auto attacks, so it's nice to be able to use it and then go back to base so you can have some time to get your Fury right back on out there. Zemfira, mid lane, showing some health off of NubbypoohBear, but top lane, there's the real damage on a Nothing Here.
Yeah, he's gonna get chased down here, flashing from Mindy, who does go into that Flame Chopper, so a lot of movement stop from that one, but they're gonna turn this one around with a zap. Mindy forced to use the barrier. We're gonna see Hyolyn turn this one around, get the stun, get the incinerate, but a health pick's gonna hit him the shield to lift through it. Zeinking, the Lulu King, will be able to save Nothing Here.
I was gonna go for Zeinking the Lane King, but
Lane King? Yes.
There you go. See, it doesn't work with lane either, so it's only for positive situations, which is exactly what he made that somewhat negative start turn out into. Able to keep both himself and Nothing Here alive. Not quite so fortunate as, sure, XiaoMeLotusMindy may stay alive, but not so lucky for GleebGlarber. Now, Cris, bottom lane, will be shoving out against BillyBoss. I actually noticed that Billy went Doran's Shield. I think we actually saw, was it Quas earlier on, start with a chalice, or not a chalice, a flask start instead of that Doran's Shield. So a lot of different ways to play Olaf, depending on how you want to go. I believe Quas actually went for the AD version of Olaf, whereas BillyBoss is really going to go for CDR and probably that Spirit Visage first.
Yeah, 40% Olaf is nothing to mess with. 40% CDR Olaf is nothing to mess with. Spirit Visage boosts lucidity. We do see Hyolyn using the Sweeping Lens to take out a ward, dodges away from Zap, and waiting for his partner to get back up there for a little bit of crime, and maybe trying to take down Jinx. This time around, Ziploc getting his red buff, doing a full rotation, gave blue buff over to Zemfira, and maybe looking for some aggression up top. We haven't really seen much from NubbypoohBear though. He went up top, got one kill. He did about 3 ganks up there, saw one in mid lane, and he kind of leaving BillyBoss to do his own thing down bot. He hasn't died, and he's still out farming Cris.
Now Cris is just going to pop in and out of these brushes, just clear the lane out. Doesn't actually want to fight BillyBoss right now. You can see him just barely losing out on those trades.
Yeah, that burnout doing a ton of damage for him. We do have Ziploc coming in up top. Will be spotted out by a ward. Could be a signal for NubbypoohBear to go up there and try to make it a 3v3. Salce has double buffs right now. Going to drop out of that tether. Is he going to look for the empowered Q? He actually hits the range minions. Clears out the whole wave. That's going to turn the whole fight around. And Zemfira will be able to live through that. As if that Soul Flare would have hit Zemfira, and we could have seen it. We did actually see Ignite. That would have forced Barrier or Flash out.
Yeah, Zemfira very, very lucky in that mid lane. Those purple caster minions, man, they're pretty OP. But now GleebGlarber looking to go in. I'm not sure he should necessarily do it now. There's an attempt, at least, for NubbypoohBear to come in here. Zemfira trying to take that big blue Wraith away, but now dropping dangerously low. Gonna go down here. Unless Captain Ziploc, no, he misses the cocoon.
Oh! Wow. Nice kiting.
Yes, much kiting. Bottom lane, though, BillyBoss dropped very low. This Dragon's Descent down from Cris. We should look for the dive here deep underneath the turret. We'll have to see if he wants to go for it. Indian Wave is getting cleared out there. Cris finally draws turret aggro. Won't dive just yet.
We're gonna see the Flame Choppers come out. Mindy will dodge away from the side, go up to the brush. Help Picks gets dropped. Little Lance does connect. He doesn't have that Relentless Pursuit to take off that slow, so he's gonna eat a bunch of damage to the face. Cris harassing BillyBoss out underneath the turret. Timbers gets dropped on a Zeinking right now. And it's going to be Mindy dropping out the Ardent Blaze, trying to kill him with the culling, not in range. Timbers was taking the turret as well. Nothing here was just clearing out the wave, and that is going to be Zeinking staying safe and alive. He hits level 6. There is a zap that hits that blue caster minion, and going to be the end of that one.
Alright, so a lot of aggression, a lot of skills traded back and forth, but nothing overall coming out of that. Xiao and Hyolyn up there in the top lane, just pushing it out and looking for a free trip back to base. Once again, the wave clear, the trading, it's all down in that bottom lane. Probably won't really amount to all that much for now. NubbypoohBear, though, as the jungler, should have a little bit of a different, a more difficult time clearing this out. But hey, it's Season 4 junglers. They get more gold, they get more stuff more quickly. We'll have to see how this works out. Cris trading actually really well, but there's actually the ward jump. Force the flash out from Cris, who does get hit by the undertow.
He's almost has Dragons set up. There it is. He's going to look to go back in onto NubbypoohBear. Eats a turret shot. BillyBoss will be able to chase him down. Takes him out with the true damage. And I'm surprised he didn't use the Dragon's Descent to get away, or go away from the turret.
You know, I think he was either trying for a sneaky escape route or maybe trying for an all-in onto BillyBoss. Either way, neither one of those really working out. So he will unfortunately drop down. Cris now 0-1. But a kill apiece for just about everyone else in the game, with the exception of Zemfira and Xiao. Bottom lane, this is what I like to see, EGAD. It's 12 minutes into the game and the first turret's about to fall.
Yeah, but Ziploc has come in to respond, so maybe he'll be able to stop it. The minions are dying, and the turret is not going to fall. He gets the cocoon at max range, going in with a ton of damage. Turret helping that one out as well as the minions. And kind of getting a little creep block there. Goes in with the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike. He's going to repel away from that. Where is he going to go, though? He goes back into the same spot. Undertow connects. A ton of damage coming in from the true shot. The true damage, but now Cris is joining the party. NubbypoohBear is his target. Next, he's switching up to BillyBoss, who will be able to trade with him quite well. Going to see a smite onto that Canadian healing up NubbypoohBear quite well. Undertow comes through. Salce, kind of out of nowhere. Gonna force
all barriers out.
Cris to get away. Can they do anything else here? Cocoon coming out does not connect. Cris is going to dive this one. Gets, wow, kited away very well. A kick away, though, from NubbypoohBear keeps him safe. He's looking for the living artillery kill. Can he do it? It looks like no. Even with that blue buff. And that 3v3 down bot is going to be a 4v3 as the ping out of Hyolyn looking to come in with that Timbers. Can he get the stun? He can on the Cris. Drops Ignite. Gets the Incinerate and the Fireball. Zemfira is going to be his next target. He's going to pop a Biscuit. Looking to try to get another stun onto Zemfira here. Gets it underneath the turret. It's going to be the Tether. It's going to be the Empowered Q as well. Giant Growth comes in from Lulu. BillyBoss dives underneath the turret. Can he get one? He will be able to get Hyolyn. And NubbypoohBear will barely get out of there. Well, now BillyBoss is getting chased down by Zeinking. Auto attacks. Ignite. Is he going to get a shield? It looks like he will. Can he get out of there? There's the Help Picks. There's the Glitter Lance. And it's not enough. The Death Rocket. Oh, Salce eats it. The Repel over the wall from Ziploc. The Venomous Bite picks it up. And now, after a very long, excruciating fight, it's going to be still 6-5 in favor of Napkins and Disguise.
Nubby and Salce both escaped that with just a couple hundred HP, and I don't know. I think if Zeinking had decided to split off onto somebody else other than BillyBoss, might have been able to pick up another kill. But either way, Salce gets out. The big deal, though, will be Captain Ziploc taking the dragon away for Cognitive, who do use that gold to bring themselves back in the gold count. Now down only by a little bit less than 1,000 gold.
Yep, and that dragon was really needed. We're going to see red buff get handed over to Cris. We're going to see blue buff go over to Ziploc. And still, down a turret. Cognitive could easily catch up in this gold lead. And we'll see what they want to do as Cris rotates towards top. It looks like we're going to have a lane swap initiated.
So for right now, I think that's mostly about Cris. He's 0-2, and in that very 1v1 duel-heavy matchup, especially against BillyBoss, is really starting to stack those items up. You don't really want to leave it that way and just have Cris keep getting further and further behind. So you're going to shift it into a 1v2, and now actually coming out the bushes, Dragon's Descent on it.
Yep, it's going to use the breath as well, but they will be able to get out of there. Not even forcing a flash out because it's still on cooldown for Hyolyn, and he just walks out of there. Ziploc using his sweeping lens, clears out a ward, and we'll go back to jungling or go back to base. But either way, Zemfira drops his ward, spots out Salce, tags him with a living artillery. He's got a tier stacking up. He's going for the same build with the Rod of Ages.
Alright, so it was effective. The Lich Bane to come out, just getting straight up dove, but immediately the flash over the wall, instantaneous reaction there from Zemfira. Will live to see another day. I did not expect that.
I actually didn't expect him to live either, but good job, great flash. Zeinking is up top, helping out Cris. He's going to give him the Whimsy. Going to tag him with the Twin Fangs, try to slow out Mindy there just a little bit, but they cannot fight it any further than that as Ziploc is responding to BillyBoss's push. It's very interesting to see the rotations from Cognitive as I don't know what they're trying to accomplish here. Ziploc will miss the Cocoon, does connect out to the Cannon Minion. He'll smite it away, be able to hold the lane. NubbypoohBear is taking up the turret, 3 shots for his troubles, and they will just back right on out.
So first turn of the game did go to Cognitive, or did go to NID. So for Cognitive to pick up another one, they probably look for a push in the top lane, as that has been sort of the split push lane. For bottom though, BillyBoss having not having a turret there, having to run away a very long way back to get to his, will be a little bit vulnerable to a gank, but no pressure down there just yet. It's mostly this mid lane is. I don't necessarily think this is a good place for NID to push just because Zemfira is going to be able to wave clear that way too easily. You can see him pushing so quickly, he's even able to take side camps in the jungle.
Yep, and Ziploc's still holding out on the side. I'm wondering where they're going to go from this, because Cris is able to duel Mindy very effectively up top. He can just keep pushing the wave and shoving him down. Mindy can last hit on his turret just fine. He's got enough damage. And it looks like he's actually rushing an Infinity's Edge? Maybe? Or just making of a Bloodthirster into a Last Whisper.
It probably will be an Infinity Edge first. Not something you usually see out of Jinx. Usually it's... I've seen some Trinity Forces, but Bloodthirster, much more common from Jinx. Going up against Lucian, who does also look like is going for an Infinity Edge. Dive through the turret. Will XiaoMeLotusMindy stay alive? Cris just chase him, a ring around the turret as they come. Flashes away. Kayle, Cris around the turret, forces the flash out.
Alright, so that was a really phenomenal play. Still forced the flash. He's going to end up giving himself up to the turret, so doesn't want to give a kill to the Hyolyn. He tibbers, but it's not enough and not in range, as that dragon will fall. That dragon did fall. Nothing here, gonna get dove here by BillyBoss. We're gonna see him lay in with the pow pow. Zap comes through, does not connect, no slow for that. Zeinking, gonna get the Whimsy. Gonna look to go through with the speed boost, and they cannot catch BillyBoss there, as Salce and NubbypoohBear make their way towards bot, trying to make this a 4v3. Ghost gets popped out by BillyBoss. The Zap turns around, slows him, Glitter Lance as well. Gonna be the empowered Inner Flame as Giant Growth and the barrier. He heals up for quite a lot there. Neka Depth Rocket connects as well to BillyBoss, but it's not enough as BillyBoss will pick up the kill. Zeinking falls to NubbypoohBear. And is this it? Are they gonna be able to get away with this? BillyBoss will be able to. As now Ziploc walks in 3v2. He will dodge away from the tether. Flash comes in from Hyolyn. We're having a little bit of damage coming from Zemfira, but it's not enough. Hyolyn will pick up 1, and that is a 3 for none. Wow, that was a very interesting play.
But still, NID, they're actually coming out with this, and against a team like Cognitive, who, for the long time, Curse Academy actually really had their number. They beat Curse Academy earlier on tonight, and now, oh, look at the culling backwards as XiaoMeLotusMindy trying to escape Cris once again. Yeah,
we'll see if he can dodge away underneath the turret this time. He doesn't have Flash or the Pursuit. It is not enough. Cris was able to duel him out that time with the Sunfire Cape, helping out a tremendous amount. And no silly escapes for XiaoMeLotusMindy. We do see blue buff on Kog'Maw here. He's just way clearing galore. He is actually losing out on CS to Salce, who has had blue buffs pretty much his whole entire time in that lane, as well as roaming around and picking up nice kills for the team. 1-0 on 4, building towards an Athene's. BillyBoss up top now, looking for the undertow, does connect it. Cris gonna pop the dragon form and get out of there while Zemfira picks up his own blue buff.
Keep in mind, going into this match, the votes were actually really close. I think it was a total of 65% in favor of Cognitive versus the 35% for Napkins in Disguise. And this is actually a complete turnaround from the way it's been literally all season long. NID were actually I think they were second place in their division for a while, whereas Cognitive actually had a really rough start to the season here at NACL, but now, after huge performances and actually qualifying for the relegation tournament for Season 4 of LCS, it's nice to see that,
wow.
NubbypoohBear gets in there easy as it comes, steals away the dragon.
Tibers and Soulflare come in from Salce. He blows up that Jinx, as it will be Mindy picking up that kill. Zeinking gonna get initiated on here. No energy for NubbypoohBear just yet. Decides not to dive that. We do see them counter juggling away the white. Salsa is forced to back on out of there. And a nice dragon steal from NubbypoohBear. Very impressive.
Yeah, he just kind of walked in and was like, oh, you're giving me dragon, that's cool. And then grabbed it away. Mr. Tippers and Hyolyn will be farming things up bottom lane. You can see that Zemfira is not too happy about Salce and NubbypoohBear looking to maybe dive him. There's also a Lucy in there, so Xiao gonna get in there. There's another repel away to Wraith Camp. Spirit Fire comes out, but nothing happening just yet.
Yep, and kind of a bit of a lull after that dragon steal. It's still that big gold lead, actually 5,000 for Napkins, and that 4 kill lead. So I want to see how if they can snowball off that, but Cognitive can do their own such stuff as they're going on to Salce right now. Twin Fang comes through, he's gonna drop the breath, drops Dragon's Ascent, ton of damage comes through. As the Living Artillery really isn't enough, Zeinking gonna get kicked through the wall, he flashes and wow, that actually followed him through the Resonating Strike. And that will be a kill over to NubbypoohBear, who I thought got some help from Mindy, but apparently just soloed him out.
Yeah, and Xiao, like, right now he's actually starting to come into his own. Has that Bloodthirster big first early core item. Now he's actually looking for that Last Whisper. We were talking about whether or not it was going to be kind of that Legolas build, more of a skill AD caster kind of way to play the champion. Going back to base, should have enough gold there for that Last Whisper, if in fact that is what he wants to buy. Could always be Ravenous Hydra, you know, you never know.
Actually, you never do know. It could be Blade of the Rune King.
After some of the games I've seen here tonight, I am just... it's challenged quite literally everything that I thought. I never expected to be casting 2 5-minute inhibitors going down. AP Cogmaw is a little bit new as well, so let's see. Zemfira actually doing pretty well with it. Does have those double core mana items. He builds them like a Rise or maybe a Kassadin with very heavy mana requirements, so you can keep spitting out that living artillery that he's so good at landing.
Yeah, and we will see where everything else is going. The Archangel Staff was picked up for Zemfira, so he's at 560 of 750. Looking to make that Saracen Brace come as soon as possible. Deathcap looking to be built up here for Salce, and just wait. I'm surprised we haven't seen much grouping coming in from Cognitive. Like, it's just been Napkins really roaming around and counteracting what Cognitive been trying to do. Yeah.
Counter-Atkins.
Counter-Atkins.
There we go.
I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore.
I don't know. Either way, it's going to be Captain Ziploc now coming out of the bushes. Will he throw it out? Oh, it does land the cocoon onto Mindy. Will it be enough? There's going to be a bear hug from Mr. Tibbers, but a little bit out of space.
And they back off. No turret going down just yet. Gonna be the nice hole up there. But BillyBoss and Cris going at it back up top. Undertows galore. True damage galore. But now the initiation on a Ziploc. Flame Choppers come in. It's gonna be NubbypoohBear going in onto Nothing Here. He kicks before the ward jump as they turn around with the zap. The Mega Death Rocket does connect. NubbypoohBear is so close to dying. The Ignite picks up the kill, as well as the Culling picking up a kill on Elise. Ardent plays for the next kill. While it looks like Salce did come around the side picking up a kill on Nothing Here. And they just went 3 for 1 in favor of Napkins in Disguise, and they're looking phenomenal here. Gonna give Tibbers the shield, tank up the turret. Cris and BillyBoss going back at it up top, while Zemfira on the side is just laying in living artillery and trying to hold them off from pushing, doing the best that he can to keep that turret alive.
With every single one of these living artilleries, it keeps stacking up damage, more and more damage every single time, until it costs like 400 mana just to cast one stack of that ultimate. But with Kog'Maw backing off for now, I think he is going to commit to defending this. And yeah, you can see Zemfira has way too much wave clear to just let this go down. But Hyolyn, actually dropping down pretty low there, will be forced to disengage. Doesn't want to get sniped out there by Zam.
Up top still, Cris and BillyBoss going back and forth with these fights. Seeing who can come out the manliest and who can sustain the most. Salce is looking to tip the scales a little bit as he comes up top. And will help BillyBoss push this lane.
So, you kind of have to ask yourself at this point in the game, what are both of these teams trying to do? For right now, Cris trying to defend that top turret, whereas for NID, they already have the 3-0 turret advantage.
Oh god, Zemfira.
Oh my.
Gonna be forced to flash to the wall. He loses the turret over the wall, picks up the kill on Salce. Gonna look for BillyBoss now next. He's gonna use the ghost to get out of there with Cris chasing him with the burnout. But throws the dragon's breath and cannot pick up the kill while NubbypoohBear does get whimsy, but Shadow dashes his way out. The Mega Death Rocket comes in. Oh, it's not gonna connect. That's okay.
I believed there for just a brief moment before my hearts were crushed, my dreams were broken. But for Cognitive, they're gonna push down middle lane, 4 members strong with only. Yeah, I think they're only missing Cris, who's up the top lane. Middle turret will fall. First turret of the game. Congratulations, Cognitive. 25 minutes. A little bit behind schedule as far as our last game is concerned, but now looking to stop the bottom lane push there by XiaoMeLotusMindy. We'll take all 4 members free there for Cognitive to try to stop them out. Nothing here does not want to fight that.
Not want to fight it indeed. We see the repel come in though onto Hyolyn as Ziploc will try to do everything he can. This is Timbers in response, setting up 2, but now Mindy in the back line will pick up. Actually, no, it's going to be NubbypoohBear picking up that kill. The culling coming through. Zemfira is going to be focused out here by BillyBoss. Pops the barrier, trying to live through everything he can. Gets just smacked in the face by those axes. Chasing down BillyBoss is not able to pick up the counter kill. While Zeinking and NubbypoohBear is getting chased back and forth. Glitter Lance to slow him down. NubbypoohBear relentless, not sparing that support. Just auto attacks it in the face. Picks it up, and that's 3 for 1 in favor of Napkins.
And there you go, Napkins in Disguise continuing to find these team fights, find the wins, and now you can see there's actually going to be a little bit of extra CDR in preparation for that Spirit Visage onto Cris. This time it's actually NID, though, that take that dragon away. It was 1-1 before that happened, and now it's actually 2-1 in favor of NID as far as dragons are concerned. So a lot of global objectives in favor of NID, but picking up gold doesn't really matter. It's what you do with the gold that you get. And so while there's itemization advantages in the jungle, and especially AD carry roles, top lane as well, it's very consistent. 2 kills for every single member of Cognitive. Maybe they just like even things out and decide to share.
Yeah, everybody just starts sharing things. You know, let's split a Baron. You can have half of it, I'll have the other half, and we'll go back and forth. Or trade a Baron for Dragon or something like that. But the team that gets Baron kind of comes out ahead there. And once again, we're at this point where everybody's just kind of farming back and forth. Hyolyn dodging away from some of those living artilleries. Blue Buff going to get tossed over to Salce here again. And level 14 for NubbypoohBear achieved. As there's still that one outer turn in the bot lane, which I'm pretty surprised that we haven't seen Cognitive try to get that one.
You know, it seems like the easy sort of low-hanging fruit on the turret tree. You just want to go grab it immediately, but keep in mind that when you overextend all the way bottom lane, you leave Baron open. It's 30 minutes into the game. Definitely both teams have that on their minds, and while it's very difficult to keep ward coverage on that objective, just because it's so easy to clear things out, that probably means that you don't necessarily want to walk all the way bottom lane, although, right as I say that, nothing here about as far from Baron as you can get.
Yep, and pink ward gets spotted out here. We're going to look to clear that one out, drops his own ward, and we're back to the sieging game as Salce and NubbypoohBear rotate around that wolf side, drop their own wards, spot out nothing here, and Hyolyn did successfully kill that pink ward, so huzzah! We will see where they want to move from here as they send Ziploc and Cris up top to deal with BillyBoss, but they get spotted out before they can clear the ward, and the Sleeping Lens proving to be pretty useful.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime one team is ahead, picking up the sweeping lens, great for not only clearing out their ward coverage, but hey, if you're the team that is ahead, gives you a much easier trip through your opposing jungle. Top lane, the trades come out for BillyBoss versus Cris. Pretty sure Cris wins that. He has minions on his side, which actually deals a surprising amount of damage. Ignite goes down.
He's gonna chase this one down. Is he gonna Dragon's Descent into this one for the kill? He will, as the swag dragon comes across. And we will see the push though in response from 4 members. Cocoon onto NubbypoohBear, who does queue in, but does get sped up and gets out of there. That Salce now is going to be their target. Super Mega Decker target does connect. He shields it though. It's going to be Zeinking with the Glitter Lance while now Ziploc gets healed up. Will get Cocoon in the face by NubbypoohBear as the chase may commence still as Cris comes in from the side. He doesn't have red buff anymore. It just faded. Will be a safeguard away. Mindy is going to be their target right now. Sniping him out with everything that they can. Can he get one more Living Artillery? It's flashing Living Artillery. One more. It's going to be actually the Fishbones auto attack from nothinghere to pick up that one. NubbypoohBear flashing away. Will get out with his life. And globally, that was a 3-for-1.
For right now, Cognitive looking to take down that middle secondary tier turret. And notice, keep in mind, that bottom second and third tier turrets, both still alive. Cognitive, I mean, they can go bottom and take it, but why would you do that when you can just win a team fight and shove down mid? Now, with Salce now 2 and 2, finally finding a death, it's really just NubbypoohBear and BillyBoss that are the big sources of strength. They're both tanks. They're both building almost exclusively full tank, with the exception of NubbypoohBear. Actually has a little bit of offense coming his way.
And, I'm waiting to see if they're going to go in on this fight here. Stun does connect. Cris will just soak that one up to the face. Cocoon not in response though. Zap doesn't connect from the BillyBoss either. And we're going to wait to see who can push these waves out the fastest and who can catch out who the best.
The mystery for me here is whether or not Zemfira is going to go for a death cap first, or possibly the Lichbane. Yeah, we did see him go Lichbane third item last time, but this time around he's going to mix in some extra AP along the way. I'm pretty sure he needed a Medgize in that last game because he was ridiculously fed. Finished the game 12-2 and 12. But now, not having quite so much success, but that'll come a little bit later on once he starts getting fed.
Yep. Still just being that sniping monster in the back line. BillyBoss gonna be spotted out here. Does eat that by Arcane Barrage. I mean, the Living Artillery there just takes 3. Can we see 4? Cris is on the side there, uses the Cutlass, gonna slow him down. There's 4. It's gonna be 5. 6. And that is gonna be the end of that chase. Well, now the siege comes in, and actually an initiation. Ziploc gonna get kicked away though. Cris goes over the side there. We're gonna see the Living Artillery. The culling comes through, gonna kill those innocent spiderlings, and Hyolyn gets chunked out right there. Dragon's Breath comes through. Super Mega Death Rocket to the side. Mindy gonna eat that one. Living Artillery coming in. Zemfira actually at about half HP. Salce maybe looking for a sniper potential kill, as we do have BillyBoss maybe flanking from mid. Think we'll get spotted out there. NubbypoohBear gonna get poked and prodded, as he may go in as Sonic Wave Resonating Strike comes through. No Resonating Strike. It's gonna be repel away from Ziploc, and that fight still going on in this red side jungle, as Dragon gonna be spawning in a second here. And this is gonna be a sign for another fight, but everybody is dangerously low from side of Cognitive.
Dragon will go down. This time it's right back towards Cognitive. Trying to slow out BillyBoss there. It's actually Cris going in on the Salce.
He's going to have no Dragon's Descent just yet, and they will reinitiate it on top of him. He's going to flash over the wall. He gets out of there. The Empowered Shield as well will keep everybody sped up and very tanky. We do see the Glitter Lance connect and stop them from progressing any further, but Dragon did end up going over to Cognitive now, so they are catching up in that gold. They're still down by about 5.5k. And inside of Napkins in Disguise, are they rushing for Baron?
I mean, NID, anytime you win a team fight or catch your opponents out of position, it's always a nice place to be. The only problem is that I feel like we've seen more unsuccessful or even stolen Barons combined than we have seen successful Barons so far. Dropping down dangerously quickly, it's only going to be Zeinking in there with a Super Mega Death Rocket, not enough to steal it away. Perfect timing there on the Baron call, and it's NID that walk away with the buff.
Alright, so now they're looking really strong. They get their blue buff as well. And, with that Baron buff, we could see them look to group up or send BillyBoss into his own solo lane worlds.
Red buff going over to nothing here, and mid lane is the lane that we haven't necessarily focused on at all. We've seen some cool dives like during the first 10 minutes, but for the next 15 it was just farm, 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 then a little bit of action around Dragon. Now we're back to the farming phase where Salce is going to be able to take down his Wraith camp. Zemfira rather is just taking down side jungle camps. You can really see that affected in the CS as it is both miles ahead of everyone else on the team.
Alright, and... Right. Come on. I want to see a nice big push down mid lane. They all have Baron. They're all really strong. That Void Staff going to come into huge effect now, especially with the magic resist that's built into Cris and Ziploc. The Mikhail's Crucible was done for Zeinking a little while ago, as well as one on Hyolyn, so tethers can be cleansed. A lot of things can be cleansed from both sides, as well as a nice little heal. We do see the activation of the speed up. Hyolyn looking for somebody right now, forcing a flash away from Zemfira.
So yeah, definitely afraid of that. Whether or not he was fearful, I'm not sure. But with the push down the middle lane and a Baron buff all over NID, they're just waiting on a wave of minions. To be honest, I don't even think they need that wave of minions to come in, because either BillyBoss or possibly even Salce, or rather NubbypoohBear could take that down. But with Nubby actually building pretty offensive heavy, it'll be interesting to see what he goes for, but he will be lacking a little bit in the tank stats coming out from...
He's got quite a hefty amount of HP, and some tenacity as well, and even more regen. So that Vamp Steps are going to be really useful with the Spirit Visage, as well as the Safeguard Iron Will combination. So I like it. It's pretty cool because Sustain throw a lot.
Yeah, Sustain really going to be effective against, especially as Zemfira is just going to be poking out at you over and over again. Looking for that Lichbane to come out next, most likely. I don't think he's going to save much beyond that. Has 1,500 in the inventory, needs a couple hundred more. See if he can grab that well-needed gold off of this next incoming wave.
Yep, and with the Baron sieging up, looking to be pretty troublesome and pretty hard to do, especially with Zemfira, like I said before. If he gets any more damage, it'll be almost impossible. Mindy gets chunked by those living artilleries. Cocoon does not connect. We are just waiting to see who can catch you out first. As Sonic Wave on the Ziploc, choosing not to go in with that one. And now rotating towards top, as there is a huge wave up there. Undertow's coming through the side, and that Seeker's, that Oracle was just not good enough, as Soul Flare does come through, does a ton of damage to Cris and Ziploc, and it's going to force Napkins to actually back off. Zemfira is holding on really well.
Looking for the engage down through the turret. BillyBoss actually very slow, gets Cocoon, forced to pop Ragnarok to escape.
Super Mega Death Rocket is blocked away by Salce. He pops the Empowered Shield as well as the speed boost and gets everybody out of there. As that is going to be the end of that, and the Baron is going to fade in the next couple seconds.
Yeah, so Baron buff, all it really accomplished is just pushing the waves all the way in. No base turrets, no Nexus turrets, no inhibitors, nothing taken off of that as far as structure are concerned inside the Cognitive base. Now, Cognitive, they're okay at coming back. They're much better when you put them in an offensive turret sieging kind of role. But for at least right now, NID solidly in the driver's seat. Do want to make sure that they don't get caught out before they can group back up, as Xiao's all the way top lane looking to farm up minions, but he's way far away from the rest of his team.
Very far away, and he will be able to split push just fine. And wondering what Cognitive has to respond to BillyBoss just trouncing on, like running right through the team, going for nothing here and Zemfira.
Well, we actually talked about that during Champions. Like, we're like, okay, what on earth is there to keep Zemfira safe from BillyBoss? And the answer is hopefully going to be Zeinking, who can maybe drop some CC onto Billy beforehand. But as soon as he pops Ragnarok, it's going to be up to Zemfira to try to escape. So his flash actually comes up in 50 seconds. So if Cognitive can hold out for another minute, and Zemfira has a really good chance of being able to out-kite BillyBoss when he runs in, and keep himself alive long enough to make a huge difference in this upcoming fight. You can see Cognitive now grouping up around that middle lane. I would expect them to split, and yeah, that's exactly what they are. They're grouping up, splitting both mid and bottom, just to make sure that they can keep at least 2 lanes at a time as pushed out as possible, and you can count on NID not really being okay with letting that happen.
Yep, they're going to keep everything shoved out in response. Dragon's going to be soloed out here for NubbypoohBear. And I'm just looking at the builds right now. The Infinity's Edge, Bloodthirster, Shiv, and Last Whisper for Mindy makes him so hard to deal with. He could pretty much, if he gets lucky, 3-shot nothing here, which would be devastating. And we are seeing a ping as they want to try to be sneaky. They have control over this side of the jungle. Salce waiting on the side right now. Cris is going to walk in. They're going to get the speed up from that, and there's going to be a flash timbers on the 3 members, as well as BillyBoss going in the back line. Cris is forced to flash over the wall. BillyBoss going in, and BillyBoss is going to get all the shields and get kited back, as it will be the kill over to Zemfira. And Salce going to get 1 tethered on the Ziploc. Throws up the Sulfur. The Mega Death Rocket gets blocked out by NubbypoohBear. And after all of that, just going to be the 1 for none.
Nubby took almost no damage for that, now tanking up that middle turret. I'm not sure why he's tanking the turret. Just kind of running around in there amongst the minions that will be cleared away. It's BillyBoss going down, and we were talking about what do you have to do to keep Billy off your carries. The answer is have both carries focus them, because Billy went in a little bit ahead of schedule. Wasn't quite as planned. Now the damage to come back. Flashed in there actually by Xiao. 1 more kill. Grabs 1 off the red buff. Now Zemfira very low. Cris going in.
A flash from nothing here to chase this one down. Zap picks up 1. She's getting excited. Chase out a Salce. Venomous Bite picks it up, and this is going to be a Baron attempt from Cognitive, as we do have NubbypoohBear waiting on the side, as well as Hyolyn. There is some ward coverage coming in. They're going to drop wards when they get to the pit. Is this going to be the turnaround? They're going to see the timbers dropped on nothing here, as well as Zemfira using that Saris Embrace for a little bit of a shield. NubbypoohBear comes in, trying to get everybody he can. He's got the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike, but no energy. Nothing here is able to kite it and get the kill. Get even more excited as he throws out the Zap and the Mega Death Rocket onto Hyolyn. Going to see the Living Artillery coming through. Hyolyn is able to run through. Cris drops the Blade of the Rune King, but cannot chase any further as BillyBoss comes to the party. Undertowing back and forth, ton of true damage comes through. Cris can turn this one around, and with the help of Zemfira, they can get out of there safely, and they are going to disengage from Baron, but get out of there with 3 kills. And are they going to go back to it? And oh my god, they're going to go right on back to it.
Look at how low health they are. It's only Cris who has any semblance of HP, but with AP Kog'Maw and nothing here.
He's going to run in
there.
He's going to go straight for Zemfira. He's going to shield that one up. Giant Growth comes through. He will still end up falling.
Alright, yeah, you just cannot stop the unstoppable, and that will be Baron buff this time for Cognitive. I don't know what to say, Dan. This game is way too close, so back and forth. 42 minutes in, no outer turrets remaining for Cognitive, whereas, ooh, they actually take down the top turret off of minions, so nice play there. Well played, Purple Caster minions, well played.
Doing their job. Sacrificed himself for the team to get the turret, and, they will be respawning, so, you know, never can have too many Purple Caster minions.
I mean, I can probably think of a few options, like if you're taking up minions with like 10,000 HP Scions, or you're trying to test Thresh Strax, and all of a sudden the minions get invincible, and you're just like, why do I have all these minions? Why can't I hold them all? The answer is, well, you're not really supposed to be able to, because games aren't supposed to last 18 hours or something. Either way.
There was somebody who did that, I think. For, I think it was a Vigar and an Nasus, they just stacked forever.
Yeah, they just kept on stacking and stacking. Back in the day, you used to have like a Mumu hold waves because of his damage reduction, and then you just stacked a bunch of Thorn Mails on him or something along those lines.
Oh, yeah.
But
the old days.
The olden days. We're here in the new days of Season 4. That means that things actually work a little bit differently. A couple of the big changes are the nerfs to a lot of support champions. Then also, I feel like the games last a lot longer now just because inhibitors don't mean as much. They respawn more quickly. It's Nexus and inhibitor turrets now regenerate health. So you have to make one big solid push in there just to make sure you can
Minnie's gonna get dove on him. One shot. Cris picks him up. It's going to be the dive underneath this turret right now. Cris is taking everything, does get stunned up there, but now a cocoon of the Salce. He's going to get blown up by Zemfira. NubbypoohBear going to be the next target. Hyolyn going to get blown up there. Can he get it with the Living Artillery? He can. Double kill for Zemfira. That sniper on Kog'Maw. I think he's playing Call of Duty. We do see Giant Growth onto Cris. He will be able to live up through that one. Turret's going to go down. GG's getting called. BillyBoss is going to break through the cocoon with the ultimate. Super Mega Death Rocket is not enough to pick up the kill as he does barrier through it. And the Zap as well does not pick up the kill. Going to use that Fish Bones, but cannot do anything with this one. Zemfira out of mana currently. They're going to dive the fountain, take a ton of damage, but this game is finally over as Cognitive secure it, and nothinghere gets kicked into the Nexus. And that will be Cognitive beating Napkins in Disguise when they were down. They still are down, actually. 74k to 72k, but good job to Cognitive as they do win the game.
They just find the pick they were looking for, and unfortunately, yeah, that is going to be Thien Chao. And then with Salce and Hyolyn falling soon thereafter, Cognitive, man, they just do not die. They hung on through very adverse situations. First Baron of the game actually went over to Napkins in Disguise. They had global objective control almost the entire game, picking up 3 dragons as well. But in the end, it is Cognitive who managed to come back very, very strong. Keep in mind, you're looking at Cognitive at TBD and the Walking Zed trying to qualify against Cris, Velocity, and Coast in this upcoming Season 4 relegation tournament. So cannot wait to see these teams compete. Cognitive looking very strong as they clinch their 2nd win of the evening. And that means that it's time for our last game of the night here at NACL Super Week. Day number 1, it's VVV Gaming taking on Curse. We'll have that game and a whole lot more. That's actually not true. We'll have a whole lot more tomorrow. But last game of the night, I just get so used to casting one game right after another. 8 games so far. Game number 8 is VVV take on Curse. We'll have that coming your way after a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.